Planet Earth. That shiny blue marble that has fascinated humanity since they first began to walk across its surface. And why shouldn't it fascinate us? In addition to being our home and the place where life as we know it originated, it remains the only planet we know of where life thrives. And over the course of the past few centuries, we have learned much about Earth, which has only deepened our fascination with it. But how much does the average person really know about the planet Earth? You've lived on planet Earth all of your life, but how much do you really know about the ground underneath your feet? You probably have lots of interesting facts rattling around in your brain, but here are 10 more interesting facts about Earth that you may, or may not know. Number 1. Plate tectonics keep the planet comfortable. Earth is the only planet in the solar system with plate tectonics. Basically, the outer crust of the Earth is broken up into regions known as tectonic plates. These are floating on top of the magma interior of the Earth and can move against one another. When two plates collide, one plate will subduct, go underneath another, and where they pull apart, they will allow fresh crust to form. This process is very important, and for a number of reasons. Not only does it lead to tectonic resurfacing and geological activity, for example earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, mountain building, and oceanic trench formation, it is also intrinsic to the carbon cycle. When microscopic plants in the ocean die, they fall to the bottom of the ocean. Over long periods of time, the remnants of this life, rich in carbon, are carried back into the interior of the Earth and recycled. These pulls carbon out of the atmosphere, which makes sure we don't suffer a runaway greenhouse effect, which is what happened on Venus. Without the action of plate tectonics, there would be no way to recycle this carbon, and the Earth would become an overheated, hellish place. Number 2. Earth is almost a sphere. Many people tend to think that the Earth is a sphere. In fact, between the 6th century BCE and the modern era, this remained the scientific consensus. But thanks to modern astronomy and space travel, scientists have since come to understand that the Earth is actually shaped like a flattened sphere, aka an oblate spheroid. This shape is similar to a sphere, but where the poles are flattened and the equator bulges. In the case of the Earth, this bulge is due to our planet's rotation. This means that the measurement from pole to pole is about 43 km less than the diameter of Earth across the equator. Even though the tallest mountain on Earth is Mount Everest, the feature that's furthest from the center of the Earth is actually Mount Chimborazo in Ecuador. Number 3. Earth is mostly iron, oxygen and silicon. If you could separate the Earth out into piles of material, you'd get 32.1% iron, 30.1% oxygen, 15.1% silicon, and 13.9% magnesium. Of course, most of this iron is actually located at the core of the Earth. If you could actually get down and sample the core, it would be 88% iron. And if you sampled the Earth's crust, you'd find that 47% of it is oxygen. Number 4. 70% of the Earth's surface is covered in water. When astronauts first went into the space, they looked back at the Earth with human eyes for the first time. Based on their observations, the Earth acquired the nickname the Blue Planet. And it's no surprise, seeing as how 70% of our planet is covered with oceans. The remaining 30% is the solid crust that is located above sea level, hence why it is called the continental crust. Number 5. The Earth's atmosphere extends to a distance of 10,000 km. Earth's atmosphere is thickest within the first 50 km from the surface or so, but it actually reaches out to about 10,000 km into space. It is made up of 5 main layers: the troposphere, the stratosphere, the mesosphere, the thermosphere, and the exosphere. As a rule, air pressure and density decrease the higher one goes into the atmosphere and the farther one is from the surface. The bulk of the Earth's atmosphere is down near the Earth itself. In fact, 75% of the Earth's atmosphere is contained within the first 11 km above the planet's surface. However, the outermost layer, the exosphere, is the largest, extending from the exobase located at the top of the thermosphere at an altitude of about 700 km above sea level to about 10,000 km, 6,200 mi. The exosphere merges with the emptiness of outer space, where there is no atmosphere. Number 6. The Earth's molten iron core creates a magnetic field. The Earth is like a great big magnet, with poles at the top and bottom near to the actual geographic poles. The magnetic field it creates extends thousands of kilometers out from the surface of the Earth, forming a region called the magnetosphere. Scientists think that this magnetic field is generated by the molten outer core of the Earth, where heat creates convection motions of conducting materials to generate electric currents. The magnetic field and electric currents in and around Earth generate complex forces that have immeasurable impact on everyday life. The field can be thought of as a huge bubble, protecting us from cosmic radiation and charged particles that bombard Earth in solar winds. It's shaped by winds of particles blowing from the Sun called the solar wind, the reason it's flattened on the Sun's side and swept out into a long tail on the opposite side of the Earth. Number 7. Earth doesn't take 24 hours to rotate on its axis. It actually takes 23 hours, 56 minutes and 4 seconds for the Earth to rotate once completely on its axis, which astronomers refer to as a sidereal day. Now wait a second, doesn't that mean that a day is 4 minutes shorter than we think it is? You'd think that this time would add up, day by day, and within a few months, day would be night, and night would be day. But remember that the Earth orbits around the Sun. Number 8. A year on Earth isn't 365 days. It's actually 365.2564 days. It's this extra 0.2564 days that creates the need for a leap year once every 4 years. That's why we tack on an extra day in February every 4 years: 2004, 2008, 2012, etc. The exceptions to this rule is if the year in question is divisible by 100, 1900, 2100, etc., unless it divisible by 400, 1600, 2000, etc. Number 9. Earth has one moon and 2 co-orbital satellites. As you're probably aware, Earth has one moon, aka the Moon. Plenty is known about this body and we have written many articles about it, so we won't go into much detail there. But did you know there are 2 additional asteroids locked into a co-orbital orbits with Earth? They're called 3753 Kruthner and 2002 AA29, which are part of a larger population of asteroids known as near-Earth objects, NEOs. The asteroid known as 3753 Kruthner measures 5 km across, and is sometimes called Earth's second moon. It doesn't actually orbit the Earth, but has a synchronized orbit with our home planet. It also has an orbit that makes it look like it's following the Earth in orbit, but it's actually following its own, distinct path around the Sun. Number 10. Earth is the only planet known to have life. We've discovered past evidence of water and organic molecules on Mars, and the building blocks of life on Saturn's moon Titan. We can see amino acids in nebulae in deep space. And scientists have speculated about the possible existence of life beneath the icy crust of Jupiter's moon Europa and Saturn's moon Titan. But Earth is the only place life has actually been discovered. But if there is life on other planets, scientists are building the experiments that will help find it. For instance, NASA just announced the creation of the Nexus for Exoplanet System Science (NEXSS), which will spend the coming years going through the data sent back by the Kepler Space Telescope and other missions that have yet to be launched for signs of life on extrasolar planets. That's all for today's video. If you guys like the video, please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon for latest videos. Thank you.